Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
In a world where everyone says hello,
they dare to say,
g'day.
Yeah, g'day.
Yeah, g'day.
Yeah, g'day. Yes. Good day. Yeah.
G'day.
G'day. Yeah. G'day. Yeah.
Day.
Yeah. Good day.
Wow, wow.
Yeah, good day.
G'day. Hey. Yeah. G'day. Yeah, g'day, Tim.
Yeah, g'day, Leon.
Yeah, g'day, everyone.
Yeah, g'day, everyone.
Oh, that was a bit jovial of you. Hello.
A little bit of spice in that one.
We're already laughing. Tim, hello, how are you? Thanks for coming. It's really good that you can make it today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm really glad that I could be in my own house
Well,
for the recording session for my own podcast. But
we are
thank you for
kicking
having
you
me.
out. Tim,
Yeah.
I am having a bad day.
What's your bad day about? What's happening?
My world has been thrown into tumultuous turmoil.
Tumultuous term. That's almost the same word twice.
I know. So
Some
nice I
might
did it
say
twice.
it's overkill.
Today,
Continue.
I was on the interwebs, which have never lied to me before, and they never will.
Of course.
And I found out that Natalie Imbruglia's hit song Torn is a cover.
Gee whiz.
A double cover, actually.
This is me acting surprised. Gee whiz. I
You
already
knew and
knew.
you didn't tell me? How dare you?
I didn't think it was that important, but yeah, okay, cool.
Tim, she's been known as the songbird of our generation, and
Nobody
it's
has
very
ever called her
important.
that.
Natalie Imbruglia's song that we all thought was so good and so important that led her to success after her career on Neighbours was a bloody double cover. Third
Well,
time cover.
No, well, good on us. I'm sure it's the best version of the song, obviously.
It is most definitely the best version. It's fucking good. So I'm a bit upset, and I feel like nothing in this world is certain anymore. Some might say it's an exaggeration. I think it's an appropriate reaction to
Some
this.
might say that's an obscure thing to pick as the marker of uncertainty in today's modern world, but sure, fantastic, continue.
But I realise that there is one thing that I still have that is certain,
Yeah.
and that is the Australian bushranger history.
Oh, and what a history.
What a history, and it will never change. You can't change history. You can't.
You can't do it.
Fact.
You can.
But I think it in Australia. I think we're like one of the only countries that puts our convict criminal past on a pedestal of heroism.
Oh, we definitely do. The bushrangers, we did so much on them in school, and they're kind of like superheroes in a way. Even in their own time, they were heralded just kind of as in like superhero sort of status. It was very weird.
I think it's because most bushrangers in Australia, definitely from what I've read, and I have done extensive reading, it was the whole Robin Hood, steal from the rich and give to the needy.
Yeah, and it seemed like the cops were kind of dicks back then as well.
The cops were dicks, and also the what was it called? It was our selection, the selectors, so the people that like had their land and their farms and stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they were the big guys with the money. I just realized that all my knowledge of things comes from a selection I learned from. There's a play called On Our Selection, I think is what it's called, and there's a song by John Williamson about it as well, which is like when they used to let people go out and just pick their land.
Right, yeah.
And then the other thing I was trying to remember is what they called the rich kind of people in that time, and I was just running my head through the lyrics to Waltzing
Free
Matilda.
settlers? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, no, like the rich Britishy types, and so I was trying to think what the name of the person is in Waltzing Matilda when he steals the jumbuck.
Right.
But
okay.
I can't remember. Anyway,
I have no idea.
That was a long segue. No, segue? Diversion. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's that. Yeah, the steal from the rich, give to the needy thing. And yeah, I think everyone else was kind of dicky at that time. So
Definitely.
there are a lot of stories, and we'll get into them as we go further down the track in time. But there are a lot of good stories about things that happened when bushrangers were even robbing people, and it wasn't actually that bad.
Yeah, it's amazing. There's some amazing stories.
So, we have decided, dear audience, that because of how important this history is and how exciting it is, that every 5th episode, we are going to do a bushranger. We're going to talk about a bushranger.
Yeah, talk about their life, what they did, tell some stories about people that, interactions different people had with them. Because there's some fantastic stories about, what they did and kind of word of mouth stories about people meeting them and all that sort of stuff. And they are such monumental figures in Australian history, and the kind of like the cultural backbone of Australia as well, like you mentioned. Convicts and all that sort of stuff. They're really cool. So we're going to talk about them.
We're going to get right into it. Now, Tim, do you know the history of a specific bushranger yet?
Of a specific bushranger?
Yeah, the one I'm thinking of right now. Do you know the history?
The one that I'm reading off your mind / my laptop screen.
Yeah.
Captain Thunderbolt.
Captain Thunderbolt. Do you know his history?
I know a little bit about Captain Thunderbolt. And what a regal name. Can we just start up front by talking about his name?
Yes.
This is a self-styled name,
yes.
Captain Thunderbolt.
It is.
And I would follow him into the depths of Mordor.
I would do what he says. I wouldn't do it if he was using his real name. So, Tim, as a bit of a twist, I'm going to give you a history lesson this time.
Whoa!
On the bushranger.
Please.
So,
tell me all about the bushranger.
It all begins with our good friend Frederick Wordsworth Ward.
What a noble name.
Born in 1835, and later the self-styled name Captain Thunderbolt.
I love that name.
Which we'll get to.
It's so good.
So, Frederick Wordsworth Ward was born to, I think his parents' names were Michael and Sophia. And they had 10 kids.
That's a pretty common element with families at this time, I think.
It is. And so the 10 children were William, also known as Harry. Obviously.
Because the short form of William has always been Harry.
It's been Harry. Yeah. William, Sophia Jane. So I think Sophia, the mother, has tickets on herself. Sarah Ann, Amelia, again, also known as Emily.
That one makes a bit more sense.
It's closer to.
It's not Harry when it's called William, so it's better.
Edward B, and I believe the B is like with Homer J. Simpson. I think it stands for just B.
It's just B.
And Joshua, George E, Esther P, Selena Maria, which sounds like a pop star's name, and our good friend Frederick was the last of 10.
He was the youngest.
The little baby.
Oh.
Now, he was born in 1835, and at that time, his parents had moved from Wilberforce in New South Wales.
Right, okay.
To nearby Windsor.
Windsor, that's in Western Sydney.
It is kind of. See, I'm very bad at this because if you say Windsor to me, I know where Windsor is, but I couldn't actually explain to you where it is.
Yeah.
So
I would just be spouting other suburbs that other people
Windsor,
may not be familiar with.
So any of our American, British, or foreign listeners, just get it up on Google Maps, mate. It's easier that way.
Yeah, just look it up. God.
Now, so they moved there, and the thing about our good friend Frederick is that when he was 11 years old, he got his first job. So I guess that's kind of impressive. I don't know. Or the norm.
I think that's kind of the norm around that time period, yeah.
Now, his job title, I think, is my favorite job title. I've been thinking about getting it myself. He worked on the Aberbaldy maybe, station near Walcher.
Walker. I actually do know that place.
It's pronounced Walker.
Yeah, Walker. Yeah.
Whatever. New South Wales.
I have relatives that live in that area.
And his job was generally useful hand.
Fantastic.
It's just general. Hey, Frederick, you're just generally useful, mate. You can do whatever you want. However, in that time, he only worked there for a little bit, but in that time he started working for the next 10 years in northern New South Wales on different stations, including, it has down here, the famed horse stud to Carl, and his horsemanship skills soon became evident.
He was good with a horse. He was a generally useful hand to have around.
He was just so good. Now, the thing is that was important because then horse breaking became one of his most important duties. And I don't know if you ever watched a man break a horse or a group of men break a horse.
It is
full on.
Yeah, it's full on. And this seems to be a common element that we'll see coming on, like when we do other bushrangers. They are always very good with horses.
Bushrangers just love ponies. You know?
They're very good with horses.
But who doesn't love a pony?
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately for our good friend Frederick, this is where it all starts going downhill once we get to 1856.
1856.
Yes, what a year, what an age for wine, I believe.
Yeah.
Ward's nephew, I'm going to say John Garbett, It's Garbutt, but we're not going to say
That's
Gaboo or
Garbutt, yeah.
anything.
Garbutt.
So Garbutt, he became the ringleader of a large horse and cattle stealing operation.
Right.
So you can guess that back in those days, it still happens today. Old mate got a job that he thought was pretty good, and he got his family into it too. However, that job was horse stealing.
Okay, fantastic.
So he got people involved, and one of them was Fred. And because Fred's obviously a great horseman, at one point he helped them drive. They estimate it's about 4 dozen stolen horses from Lambs Valley, which the Lambs Valley property, which I don't know where Lambs Valley is, but all the way back to Windsor.
Okay.
So then they were sold at auction. Stolen horses sold at auction, as they were.
Yeah.
Here's the issue, though. The boys got in trouble.
Oh,
So the boys got caught.
gee
So
whiz.
Ward and his nephews John and James Garbutt were all convicted. The Garbutt boys were convicted of horse stealing, and Ward was convicted of receiving stolen horses knowing they were stolen. And they each received a sentence of 10 years with hard labour and were sent to Cockatoo Island penal establishment.
That seems a little bit extreme.
It doesn't.
But then again,
4
that's
dozen
a lot of
horses is a
horses.
fuck ton of horses.
It's a lot of horses. And at that time, like, Australia was pretty much reliant on our agricultural industries. So, like, that's actually a pretty significant thing to steal. 10 years seems about right now.
Yeah, like 4 dozen horses is, I can't even bother to calculate. I probably haven't even seen 4 dozen horses in my life. Like,
The
that's a lot of
Cockatoo
horses.
Island as well, that's pretty...
Well-
it was said to be pretty bad.
Cockatoo Island would have been a hard one because it's literally an island, so surrounded by water, so it's not really a place that you can easily escape from. I've been to the convict barracks there, and they're a bit spooky, actually. They're quite interesting. Cockatoo Island, for those that don't know now, is a kind of an artist hub. They have a lot of art installations, and they have performances on there, and I think they have raves and shit there sometimes.
Why not?
There's also a boys' school at some point. Anyway, that's another story. So, old mate Fred, this is what I love reading. Like, sometimes I love reading our trustworthy Wikipedia and stuff, because it says that Fred was behaved well. He behaved well.
He did okay.
He's a good boy, you know.
Yeah.
He's in on Cockatoo Island for stealing horses, but he's a good boy. He's a good boy.
He's all right, isn't he?
So supposedly his only punishment was 3 days in solitary confinement cells for falling asleep on the job while working as a night wardsman. Which, can you blame him? Am I right, ladies? Am I
Night
right?
times for the sleeping. Gee whiz.
Although I did read somewhere else that he also was supposedly, I can't remember what year it was, but there was some changes to the penal system. Which comes into play when I tell you what happens next. But there was some change in the penal system, and so all the convicts were like, fuck this shit. And so they actually ran out of space in solitary confinement, so they started locking them in like other cells. But so
Right, okay.
he did get that at one point as well, but that's not his fault. So, after only completing 4 years out of his 10-year sentence, he got a ticket of leave.
Okay.
Now, a ticket of leave back is basically the ye olde equivalent of going on parole.
Okay, right. Yep.
Yeah, so he got let to go out. But there were rules on his ticket of leave, and the rules on his ticket of leave were that he had to stay in the Mudgee area, in the Mudgee district, and he had to attend a muster every 3 months.
Okay.
Just got to go to a muster.
I get the staying in the Mudgee thing, but why specifically make him go to a muster? This being like a cattle muster.
Yeah.
For those who aren't aware.
For those who aren't trained in the farming business like Tim and I are. And so like they actually all got a ticket of leave, like all the boys. And one of the boys, John, he ended up marrying a wealthy widow called Elizabeth Blackman. And she was the owner of the Kooyal Inn and Station. There are all these bloody words that I should know how to pronounce because they're Australian places, but God, they're hard to say sometimes.
They are difficult.
Kooyal.
We do have some difficult place names.
Now, it was good old John, which... It's probably, he should have done this though, because he was probably feeling like a bit of a dick because it was his fault that they employed Fred at the old Kooyal Inn.
Right.
Excuse me. And there Fred met Mary Ann Bugg, who was at that time, he's a bit of a saucy bushranger soap opera.
Uh-oh.
She was living with ex-convict James McNally. Yeah, that's right, you heard.
That sounds like a HBO series.
And
in the
then
making.
it gets better. she got pregnant with Captain Thunderbolt's child. Ooh.
Okay, good. He wasn't Captain Thunderbolt yet, but yes.
No, he's not Captain Thunderbolt. So he just got pregnant with Fred Ward's child, which isn't that exciting. So that happens, and then he got in trouble because he was in breach of his ticket of leave, his rules. So I think he wasn't in the Mudgee area. I think he might have gone somewhere else to meet them in Koolyal. I don't know if that's in the Mudgee area.
Right. Okay.
And then what happened? When he rode in late to his monthly muster.
Right.
And he also rode in on a stolen horse.
Good.
So it's like, you're late, you broke the rules. Is that horse stolen?
Is that yours? That doesn't look like your horse.
Although supposedly, when they went to court, the guy said that the horse went missing, and then they heard that it was found. So he might not have stolen it. He might just have come across a horse. He might have just happened to cross this horse.
Yeah. Like I just come across a car and think, I don't think this belongs to anyone. I might just take this.
Yeah, well... Yeah. I did actually just read, I kind of missed it when I was reading through. The reason that he broke his rules is that for Mary Ann to have the baby, they went to her father's farm in Monkerai, Monkerai,
Monkerai?
Near Dungog.
Dungog.
He went there, and that's out of Mudgee, so he broke his rules.
Right. Okay.
Anyway.
Makes sense.
So
anyway, what happened?
Well, this is the issue. So you know how I talked about that rebellion with all the prisoners? With the changes in the rules, he had to go back to Cockatoo Island,
right.
And let alone did they give him another 3 years to do at Cockatoo Island, but he had to serve out the 6 years that he actually was given exemption from.
Oh, no.
So you know how he got out? Yeah, 4 years. He had to do 6 plus 3, which is 9, Tim. He had to do 9 years.
Correct.
Just for seeing the birth of his child, damn it.
And riding a stolen horse into a muster.
Well, it happened upon horse, I think is the correct term. Yep, I'm just scrolling down because that's what good audio is. On the 11th of the September,
September 11, if you will,
1863, Ward and his companion Frederick Britton slipped away from their Cockatoo Island work gang and hid for 2 days before swimming from the north side of the island. And again, I love the wording of this, almost certainly to Woolwich.
Right. Almost definitely.
Or Woolwich, if you will, depending on if you want
That's
to
quite a swim as well.
It wouldn't be like...
And there's sharks in that water.
Yeah, I've been to Cockatoo Island.
Constant talk about sharks in the harbour.
Isn't it? Because that's all the Port Jackson sharks in the harbour, is it?
Yeah,
I think so. Couple of great whites.
Quite bold of him, really.
A couple of whale sharks. I've been to Cockatoo Island on a boat, and it wasn't a short trip from where it was. The boys swam, there. Now, a lot of people claim that Mary Ann had something to do with helping them escape. However,
how would she help him?
Exactly, and there's all this mythology that people always say around bushranger stories, but supposedly she was working at home, so it's wait, why you got to be a dick to Mary Ann?
How would she possibly help him swim from an island?
She just coached him. Come on, mate, you're going well. Doggy paddle, doggy paddle.
Just float for a minute. Have a rest, mate.
I've got a stitch.
Rub away from it. Rub away from it.
Swim diagonally, you get caught in the rip. So that happened. I did read somewhere, I didn't go into Mary Ann's life, but she got thrown in jail twice as well, which is a bit brutal.
It seems like everyone around this period did at least a stint in jail.
Everyone.
Anyone that was poor
Yeah.
went to jail for something.
We've all been to
They
jail.
just all mouthed off at the cops a lot, I think.
What's different between... The only difference between then and now is that people don't get thrown in jail for mouthing off at cops going, oi, you're a dickhead. And back then they were like, oi, go to jail. And it's like, fuck.
Dang it.
So anyway, I don't think he was classified as a bushranger for all of that. That was just him being a convict.
Yeah.
Now, he came from a convict family. Like, his dad was a convict and came over here on... There was a bloody boat called the Indefatigable.
Indefatigable.
I think so. Was the...
He's not defatigable?
He's not fatigable.
It's potentially fatigable.
So that was I think, one of the ships in the first fleet that came. Anyway. But yeah, he wasn't... I wouldn't say he was a bushranger. I'm just going to say he's an outlaw or a convict.
Yeah, at this point, he's just been to jail.
So
Who hasn't?
Who hasn't? After that, Ward and Britain headed to the New England district, which I had to get a map up of because
It's like Armadale.
yeah. So the New England district, according to this map, has Moree and Tamworth, Uralla's still on there, Armadale, like those kind of areas.
Yeah.
And I hear a lot of mention that he was kind of in Maitland for a while as well. But it's kind of close. Like Hunter region is just below it.
Right, okay.
So anyway, so they went there. They went to that area, and they on the way they robbed a shepherd's hut at Gostwyck, Gostwyck, near Uralla on the 24th of October. 3 days later, while they were waiting to ambush the male near a place called Big Rock or Split Rock, which is supposedly now called Thunderbolt's Rock,
Right.
they were spotted by some troopers, and in the gunfight that happened, Captain Thunderbolt got shot on the back of his left knee, which sounds fucking horrible.
That sounds very painful.
It's like
Have you ever been sunburnt on the back of your knees?
Yeah.
That hurts enough. Can you imagine getting fucking shot in the back of your knee?
also shot with like the shitty bullets they would have had back then.
Oh, yeah.
So he got shot in the back of his left knee, and supposedly this injury was like one of his defining features for the rest of his life and career, and it's also one of the things that they used to identify his body after he was deaded.
Right, okay. Interesting.
So the two boys, Mr. Britain and Mr. Thunderbolt, they separated after that. But that's when Ward crowned himself Captain Thunderbolt in this time. So it was during a toll bar robbery in Rutherford on the 21st of December 1863. So this marks the birth of Captain Thunderbolt.
I'd love to know why Thunderbolt was chosen.
It's as if I've got the answer for you, because I do.
That would be incredible.
So supposedly, again, the mythology behind it is that Fred was hammering on the tollkeeper's door. I still don't know what a tollkeeper is. He was hammering on the tollkeeper's door, and the tollkeeper said, "By God, I thought it must have been a thunderbolt," and that Fred pointed a pistol at the innkeeper's head and said, "I am the thunder, and this my bolt." Which is boss ass.
I got
However,
a semi after that. That's incredible.
cracked Harvard. However, supposedly that's just mythology, but I like to believe it.
No, I definitely believe
By
that.
God, I thought it was a thunderbolt. I am thunder. This is my bolt.
That is super cool.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the coolest lines I've ever heard.
It would be a great line to have, like him kicking down the door holding the gun.
That's awesome.
So that's his. That was his little deal. That's where Captain Thunderbolt came from. This is the beginning of the bushranging career.
Okay.
So over the next 6.5 years, and I don't know if you know this, but according again to Wikipedia, Captain Thunderbolt is the longest serving bushranger, the longest going bushranger.
Right, okay.
Which, if you think about it, like, depends. As I said, depends on when they count it from. But even 6.5 years, that's quite a long time for a bushranger.
It is a very long time to
they're on the
not
run.
get caught.
Yeah. So in that time, he robbed mailmen, he robbed travellers, he robbed inns, he robbed stores and stations across much of northern New South Wales. It says from the Hunter region north to Queensland, and from Tamworth nearly as far west as Burke.
Oh,
So he went everywhere, man.
so yeah. Yes, right. Fantastic. Everyone knows exactly where all of those places are, so that's
just
good.
Google them all. And so in that time, he was accompanied by 3 other men. Early in 1865, they went on a crime spree, which sounds like a real riot, in northwestern Plains, but the gang disbanded after one of the men, John Thompson, was shot and captured near Moree in a place called Millie. Later that same year, Tim,
Right.
he joined forces with another 2 men. 2 brothers. They're not brothers. With another 2 men, and the second gang disbanded after one of those boys. My favourite name from this. You think Captain Thunderbolt's the best? How about Jemmy the Whisperer?
Ooh. What's
Who's
he
he whispering to?
What's he whispering? I want to know.
Hey, Captain Thunderbolt, you're doing a great job. Thanks, Jemmy. So Jemmy the Whisperer, he shot a policeman. So they kind of were like, oh, well, fuck.
So Fred was like, you can't be in the gang anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still on horses. I'm not shooting cops, you fucking psycho.
Hey, man, you need to chill out. Like, what the fuck? What do you think we are, bushrangers? We are. Oh, shit. The policeman didn't die, but yeah, he got shot. So he probably died from, like, wounds because, again, old-timey bullets.
Yeah.
So after that, Ward was a wise old man and thought, I'm just going to hire young people that I can make them do what I want to and do my thing.
Makes sense. Child labour is much more affordable. It's easier to bend them to your will. Absolutely. I'm fully in support of his decision there.
Yeah. So he hired Thomas Mason, and he hired in 1867, and William Monckton in 1868. One of them, I can't remember which one, their nickname was The Bull. So after Monckton left the whole deal, so Monckton obviously got over it at some point, supposedly Ward stayed in seclusion for a huge period of time, and he only kind of surfaced once in a while to do a handful of robberies in like 18 months. So he just kind of like hid out for 18 months and didn't do much.
Interesting.
And you know, on the 25th of May, Tim, 1870, after robbing travellers near the Big Rock, Ward was shot and killed by Constable Alexander Binney Walker at Kentucky Creek. He was
Thunderbolt's gone.
Thunderbolt got bolted down. So he was shot by the constable, and he spent his last few hours before his death, they believe, in and about the Royal Oak Inn, which was close to this Split Rock place. And in that time, there's a lot to suggest that possibly, because of being around the inn, that his judgment might have been a little bit hindered by the alcohols.
Had a couple brews, did he?
Yeah. And it says here, publican John Blanche served the outlaw's last drink at gunpoint. Thunderbolt ignored Eliza Blanche's warning to get away. The traps were in sight.
See, this is such a standard thing you see in bushranger stories as well, is even though these people are being robbed, they're almost always the people that are like, yeah, the cops are on the way. You guys probably want to get out of here.
It's always the case. It's like, you should go now. And they're like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
So hundreds of people flocked to see the body. A large sum was raised by the local community as a gesture of appreciation for Constable Walker. There's a lot of mythology again around it, saying that it wasn't Captain Thunderbolt and that he didn't die, but because of the shot, mark on his leg, and a lot of, like, 3 people, one of them being one of his accomplices, were like, it's Captain Thunderbolt. It was Def's him. The last little bit that came up when I was in my research is it talked about the fact that Ward's relationship with that Mary Ann character, the one that had his children, it ended late in 1867. So that's 3 years before he actually dies and stuff. So he didn't see her for ages.
Yeah.
But he was probably unaware that Mary had a child that she named in August 1868, that she named Frederick Wordsworth Ward Jr.
Interesting.
It says here he took the surname of his stepfather, although by occupation he walked in the shoes of his birth father. He became a groom and later a horse trainer, and died unmarried as Frederick Wordsworth Burroughs in 1937.
That is quite sad.
It is. That's just a little bit. So there you go, Tim. So I think that the summary that Wikipedia give at the top is very astute. It says, Frederick Wordsworth Ward, better known by the self-styled pseudonym of Captain Thunderbolt, was an Australian bushranger renowned for escaping from Cockatoo Island and also for his reputation as the gentleman bushranger, and his lengthy survival being the longest roaming bushranger in Australian history.
Yeah. Isn't that lovely?
Lovely, Tim. Now...
Yeah. You mentioned there about him being the gentleman bushranger. We didn't really hear much about that in the cold hard facts of
I didn't.
The
Do you
matter.
have anything for that?
I do, actually. I found a fun story. A fun story. Ooh. And this is one, like we mentioned, there's a lot of kind of first-hand stories that have been written down in letters and stuff from people around this period when, claiming to have met certain figures. And this is one of the ones I actually was doing a bit of research and found about our good mate, Captain Thunderbolt, Fred, as he liked to be
Freddy
called
boy.
by, I'm assuming, at least somebody. So this is from when the writer calls it his boy. I'm assuming it would have been Monckton, or what was the other kid's name?
I've scrolled past that now. It's all over.
So this is in 1867. So it would have been Monckton or one of those kids.
Yep.
8th of May, 1867, at the Bonshaw Hotel near Sovereign River, which is just south of Queensland. I looked into it already. So basically what happens, I'll summarise the story. 10 a.m. This is the guy's name who's running the hotel / pub is J.N. Roper.
Mm-hmm.
He's running this Bonshore Hotel. 10 a.m. Thunderbolt and the boy come in. They present the gun to this guy's head, and they're just like, "We are going to take stuff." Roper, being a smart man, just says, "Sure,
Right.
take what you're going to take." Because what's the point of fighting this guy? He's literally got a gun to his head, and he's got his boy who also has a gun. So the boy takes Roper and the guys that are working at the hotel at the time, and kind of puts them in a room, and the boy stands guard. Captain Thunderbolt finds a drawer, which obviously has the valuables in it. Can't find the key. He gets the boy to try and find the key, and what happens is the boy brings Roper across with him because Roper's got the key to let him in.
Mm.
So they unlock the drawer, and then there's kind of this situation where as Thunderbolt's taking stuff, Roper's kind of like, "Oh, can you leave me the silver because I need it to do business?"
Right.
So then Thunderbolt puts the silver back.
Okay.
And he's like, "Oh, and that belongs to such and such. Like, he's going to need that." And Thunderbolt's like, "Okay." And just leaves it there as well.
Right.
And there's like, yeah, and then the whiskey as well. He wants to take a bunch of whiskey, and the guy's like, "Oh, we're kind of like low on stock. Do you mind if you don't take a lot of it?" And Thunderbolt again is just like, "Yeah, okay, no worries."
Hey,
So
could
anyway,
you just not rob me?
yeah. So like they go around all of this stuff, and like they kind of get to chatting, and then Roper's like, the guys that they're still in the room being like looked after by the boy. He's kind of like, and the guys are kind of getting sick of being stuck in that room. So Thunderbolt's like, "Okay, let him out, whatever." So like then they're all just kind of chilling in the pub while Thunderbolt's taking all of this crap. Apparently, like they all just kind of started talking, and Roper starts trying to talk to him and being like, "Hey man, do you know, like being a bushranger is probably not the best thing you should do. You're in a fair bit of trouble. Maybe you should like just go out to like a drover's run or something, or to a station, and you can probably hide there." And Thunderbolt's like, "Yeah, thanks for the advice, but like I've tried to do that. It didn't really work." And yeah, that's kind of the story. He ended up like just leaving them most of it. And Roper specifically said like he actually was pretty good about what he took. Like he wasn't very greedy. He just took what he needed. He even at one point bought a round of drinks for everyone at the hotel.
Right.
With what I'm assuming was the stolen money from the bar anyway. But like, you know,
Possibly.
the thought's there. It's all about the thought that counts.
I feel like he walked out of that bar and they stole from him.
Yeah. So yeah, I just thought that story, because he is called the Gentleman Bushranger.
Yeah.
It's just like a perfect example, not only of him, but I've heard other stories about bushrangers, which we'll go into in coming episodes, of him just being a nice guy. Like he needs this stuff.
Yeah.
He can't walk into a store, so of course he has to do it at gunpoint. But when people are like, "Hey, we kind of need that to survive," he's just like, "Yeah, fair call. You can have it."
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I really like that. It's a fun story.
Great story. I loved it.
Fun times. But yeah, he's a good guy. Good guy.
Good old Captain Thunderbolt.
He's pretty well remembered around Australia too. He's got some memorials and whatnot. He's got a specific exhibit at the McCrossan Mill Museum in Uralla.
Right.
And that includes a series of 9 paintings by
Well,
Philip Pomeroy of the events that led to his death. That'd be
sounds-
kind of cool to see.
Yeah.
Although I don't want to go to Uralla specifically,
Well, I'm sure there are pictures
but
online.
they're probably on Google. There's a Thunderbolt's Way, which is a road that extends from Gloucester to Inverell.
Ooh.
It's said to follow the original route that he apparently did some driving on. Yeah. Oh, and there's a bullet hole in the wall at Moon and Flat Pub,
Okay.
which is near Scone. Scone
Scone?
in New South Wales.
Right.
But apparently they painted over it because they are very rude. Why would you paint over that?
Dickheads.
Yeah, that's so cool. But yeah, and then also he's had like 3 movies made about him,
Yeah, but
none recently.
and none that are too easy to find by the sounds.
Yeah,
of it
so the
either.
first one was made. The first one wasn't a movie; it was like a play
Yeah.
in 1905, and then there was a silent movie made in 1910, and then another movie was made in 1951,
Yeah.
which was shot around Armidale.
But I
We
don't
need
think-
another movie. That's what I'm saying.
I would love to see it because I just want to see that scene of him kicking in the door and being like, "I am the thunder."
Oh, that
and
would be
this my
so
bolts.
epic.
Now buy me Bonestorm or go to hell.
Yeah. So that's kind of his deal.
Right.
Very cool.
Okay. Well,
like him.
I like Captain Thunderbolt. Now, Tim, I think what's very important when we do this bushranger series is that we rate the beard of the bushranger because every bushranger's got a beard or has some kind of beard.
It's very true.
So I think, the most logical scale that we can actually come up with for a bushranger's beard is that we rate it on a scale of other bushrangers' beards.
Yeah.
However, I don't want to start using beards until we've gotten to them. So currently our scale will actually just be Captain Thunderbolt's beard.
Yeah. But does that make him the 5, the 10, the 0? I don't know.
It currently makes him the 10.
Okay. So that he's the longest beard we have thus far.
Yeah. So on this current list, so he could have been clean shaven and still had the longest beard because on this current list, it's just him.
So he's technically 0 and 10.
Yeah, he's all the above. But no, he has a beard though. I would say that in terms of length and that, Captain Thunderbolt's beard is a little bit the same as my beard.
It's a little neck beardy.
It is a little neck beardy.
Like you see other bushrangers, which we'll be talking about, and other gentlemen of this particular time period with their luscious big beards. His is a little necky for my liking.
A little necky for my choosing. There's a picture of him dead online, which is horrible to look at. It's quite horrifying, actually.
Yeah.
But his beard it's seen better days at that point.
Yeah.
His head hair's also seen better days at that point.
Yeah, he was a bit ragged.
But I am going to give him a rating of Captain Thunderbolt out of Captain Thunderbolt right
Captain
now.
Thunderbolt, fantastic. Good stuff.
Just so you all understand the scale, then will make sense when we can rate it and be like, oh, it's a Captain Thunderbolt out of a Ned Kelly or something.
The more episodes we do, the more the scaling system will make sense.
Yeah, and I'll use all my amazing graphic design skills to make a timeline of beards.
I'm sure we can't wait
Tim,
to see what... Yeah.
do you hear that?
Mm.
What does that sound?
That's the sound of the Harold Holt Watch.
Awesome. What do you got?
What have I got?
What have you
What
got?
do I have?
What have you got?
Mate, we got an email. I'm actually a bit surprised this bloke found email.
Okay.
Because he seems like, I don't know. Well, I mean, that's me being judgy, isn't it?
It really is. You're being a
Being
bit of a dick,
judgy.
actually.
He works out on a sheep station. So,
Ooh.
They have internet there, I'm sure.
I guess we need those.
Look, it's a bit of it's a spooky story.
Ooh.
But he purports to have seen Harold Holt, so I'm going to read you the letter, and tell you this gentleman's story. So, you ready?
Yes, I'm so ready.
Fantastic. All right. Hey, fellas, long-time listener, first-time writer. Well done.
Like ever?
Yeah. Well, it's not brilliantly written, so I'm going to go out on a limb and say yes.
Okay. Yep.
I'm a shearer at Madura Station in the south of Western Australia, and I love listening to you blokes as I buzz cut the sheep over here for that sweet merino wool.
Ooh.
Merino.
That's sweet. I love buzz cutting a sheep. Love the smell of buzz cut sheep.
What
in
a
the morning.
delightfully worded sentence.
Sweet merino. Yeah, okay.
Hopefully you blokes have a couple of merino wool jumpers for the hard Melbourne winters. He's got a good point there.
Does he think I'm loaded? Like, how much money do I have?
Merino wool jumpers are not...
Not
They're
cheap.
good. They're very
great.
good.
Not cheap.
Yeah,
okay.
Merino wool jumpers. Anyway, there's been some weird stories going around recently, and I wouldn't bother with it if I hadn't seen it myself. We've got a pretty big issue with roos in this area, kangaroos. They eat the vegetation to make it hard to raise the sheep, so we do have to cull them from time to time. In brackets, he's written, love the episode of the Emu Wars, by the way.
Well, it was a classic.
Cheers for that. A couple of mates went out for the nighttime shooting and came back shaken like I've never seen men shake before. They were talking about some kind of man-roo creature that came lurching out of the creek that runs through the area.
Ooh.
I didn't believe them, obviously, but I had a couple of brews and thought I'd go and have a geeze.
Classic.
We rock up to the creek, rifles in hand on account of wanting to up the roo numbers and because the boys were dead scared of what they'd seen. Spent about 15 minutes there with nothing weird happening, so I thought they'd been mistaken. He's not a great writer.
It's really not.
One would think he wrote this and then didn't read it.
Some would possibly assume that.
Until right now. Next thing I hear a splashing sound from the creek. Aim the spotlight around where the sound was coming from, and there stood what looked to be an older man dressed in kangaroo skins. He hissed at the light and made a run made to run at us shouting something I couldn't understand. We got in the back of the ute and motored out of there mighty quick. The point is, gents, that the sight of the man's face in the spotlight is scarred into my mind, and I'll be damned if it wasn't old Harold Holt.
Oh.
Any chance he could be living with the kangaroos like the kid in the Jungle Book?
Oh.
Question mark. Say good day to me mate Gaz for me on the show if you could. Cheers, mates. Mike.
First of all, we will not say hello to your friend Gaz.
I'll say good day, Gaz.
All right, fine. Hi, Gaz. Shit, Mike.
It's getting spooky.
I don't know about that one. That's a bit too spooky.
Well,
for
I
my
had a
liking.
bit of a look at the map.
Yeah.
And, like, the station's kind of, like, close to the southern coastal
Area,
region of Australia. So it's possible. Maybe he got washed along, found himself, in the middle of nowhere, and the ruse took him in.
Yeah.
These
But
things happen.
Dressed in roo skin, to me, I'm picturing like in Bear Grylls where he climbs inside a camel. Like, is he just wearing a kangaroo's body as an armor?
I don't know, but it's weird nonetheless.
Deary me.
But gee whiz, if that is Harold, I hope he's doing okay. Don't get yourself shot, mate.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Thanks, Mike. If you want to send in a letter about Harold Holt or for dadvice, you can send it to www.yeagerday.com, or you can go to yeagerdaypodcast@gmail.com, or P.O. Box. We don't have the money for one of those.
No, we do not.
We do not. Tim,
Yes.
I am gushing with excitement right now.
Ooh, you are gushing. Do you want me to get a mop for that?
You need a mop. You know why I'm excited, Tim? I'll tell you why I'm excited. Here's why I'm excited. And the reason I'm excited, I'll tell you.
Do I get to say yes, you can tell me? No,
Right
just
now.
tell me. Fuck it.
Tim,
Yeah.
this episode of Yeagerday the podcast, episode 5 of the re-release, after a year and a month or so of recording, we have our first partnery, sponsorship thing.
Wow.
And I'll
What
tell
an
you
eloquent way to phrase it.
Tell you what, this company I've been using for, I would say, about 4 years now.
Really?
Maybe 5 or 6. I've been using it for a long time.
Yeah, okay.
I'm
Fantastic.
passionate about this product. And you know why we're talking about this product today specifically?
I have an inkling, but that's because I worked on this episode. So maybe you should tell everybody.
I'll tell everybody else. Because we, this week, are working together with Bushrangers Brew Beard Care Products.
Bushrangers Brew Beard Care Products. We talked about Bushrangers. We're talking about Bushrangers beards. What could be more appropriate to bring on board the Yeagerday family than these gorgeous beard products? Tell us about the products, Leon. Come on.
Tim, I want to tell you a quick little story about Bushrangers Brew Beard Care Products.
All right.
I don't even know if that's the full title. I'm just saying it. Anyway, Bushrangers Brew are made by a mate of ours now, a good mate, great mate, Joel. And the thing about Joel is that I probably fucked up his name. The thing about Joel,
He's like, no, it's Joel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about Joel is that on his website, he's got a bit of a story about Bushrangers Brew. Now, supposedly, a bushranger named Peter Magpie Maguire, who we'll talk about at some point, that's for sure. After he died, there was a piece of paper left in his jacket pocket. And that piece of paper, Tim, was titled Bushrangers Brew.
Okay.
So Joel has come across this paper somehow, and he's taken the secrets from good old Magpie Maguire, who had a luscious, wonderful beard.
Gorgeous beard.
And he's found a way to put this into the hands of the public, of the consumers. All natural ingredients, organic, delicious. I love it.
Fabulous.
Tim, on his website, he offers you... Excuse me, I'm about to burp. I'm so excited. He offers you beard shampoo. Wash that beard.
You got to wash it.
He offers you beard oil. You got to condition that beard. He also offers you beard balm in case you want to condition your beard that way.
It gets balmy, yeah.
Some moustache wax as well.
Fabulous.
Tim, I love this stuff, legitimately. I've been
You do
using
actually.
it so long.
You order it a lot.
I do, and I'm always telling people, whenever anyone's got a beard and they talk about like how do you wash it, I always tell them what I use, and then I tell them why they should use these products. And the main reason I always say is that your head hair and your beard hair are very different, so you shouldn't use the same stuff that you're using on your head for your beard.
Yep.
However, this beard wash you could definitely use on your head. It'd be delicious. There are a couple of scents. Tim, and I want the listener to think about these scents and think about if they want them. I do. One of the scents that you get if you get the moustache wax is the Dandy Bandit.
The Dandy Bandit.
It is. Is stealing kisses your gig? Then this will do the trick. hints of spearmint, bergamot, and other secret ingredients will have you or your partner chewing your top lip for hours.
Oh, it's a little bit gross, to be honest.
It got there in the end. It was like, oh yeah. Now here's the thing. Like I want to a quick just run over the ingredients in that alone in the mustache wax: organic beeswax, lanolin, organic shea butter, organic castor oil, organic jojoba oil.
Jojoba from the jojoba tree.
How good is that?
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Some other scents, Tim. You can have Rum Rebellion. It's a rum-infused cola spice with a hint of coconut. It'll bring a lively zing to your beard and hair. Bergamot, bay, and other essential oils.
Fabulous.
You're selling me, Joel. You're selling me. And then, let alone has he got those, he's got 3 more. The last 3, Tim. Magpie's Spice is it's a fruity scent and with hints of pepper and cedar to freshen your mane. Bergamot, black pepper, and other essential oils. Now, the very first one that I ever used, aside from I've had Rum Rebellion before,
Right.
The first one I ever used was Bunyip Dreaming.
I think that's the one that
one you'll be
Joel's
getting.
sending us some stuff.
Yeah, you're going to get some Bunyip Dreaming. So it was the first one I ever used. So it says, Bunyip Dreaming. Imagine you have a TARDIS or a hot tub time machine or Marty McFly's DeLorean. Now
Definitely the hot
imagine
tub.
you use that to go back 1,000 years. Can you smell the purity in the air? Can you feel the crisp forests and bushlands of old gently lapping at your nostrils? That's Bunyip Dreaming. It's like growing the Daintree rainforest on your face. A secret combination of essential oils enhanced with rosemary to promote further hair growth and reduce beard dandruff. Your beard will thank you, and those that get close will dream.
Alrighty.
There you go. Beard dandruff, as I call it, beard drift.
Yep.
Now, the last scent. And we're spending a lot of time on these scents and everything this week because it's the first time I've ever had a sponsor, and it's the first time that we're going to be talking about Bushrangers Brew. But after this, you're all going to know everything about it when we tell you about Bushrangers Brew. The last scent is the one that I've been using most recently, and I love this scent. I think this is my favorite scent so far. To me, it smells like all hard-boiled lollies, which I love. And it smells delicious, and I have it in both its forms, I believe. I've got it in the beard wash, and I've also got it in the beard oil.
Okay.
Mystics. Imagine the gold rush. The plethora of Chinese teas and spices. The mystical scents of the Orient. This oil is designed using a secret mix of essential oils to bring the citrus burst of the gold rush straight to your beard, making it smell better and grow thicker than ever before.
Fantastic.
As if that isn't a selling point, people. Listen to that stuff. Again, with all these organic ingredients like grapeseed oil and argan oil and jojoba oil and vitamin E. I'm excited, Tim.
You look excited.
I'm too bloody excited.
I'm excited to get our stuff because I haven't tried it yet. You've been using it for a while. I haven't tried it yet. So Joel's sending us being a gentleman and providing us with some stuff, and I'm excited to get my hands on it.
It is one of those things.
Bunyip dreaming.
Get some bunyip dreaming. It's one of those things that no matter how, no matter if they're supporting us or not, I'm always going to use Bushrangers Brew, and I've used it for so long that I can definitely say that it makes my beard smell and look great.
Fabulous.
And Tim, here's the kicker. If our audience want to smell and look great too with their beards or put it on their head hair, I don't care where you put it, as long as you get some.
Put it on your pubes if you want.
Check this out. Put this on and try it on for size. 25% off for our listeners.
25?
If you go...
That's a quarter.
Is it? I don't know. If you go onto the Bushrangers Brew website, which is www.bushrangersbrew, which is BUSHRANGERSBREW.com, and you put some stuff in your shopping cart, when you finally get to the screen that asks for your discount code, you put in YEAHGDAY. All capitals, YEAHGDAY. No punctuation or anything, none of our usual punctuation. All caps, YEAHGDAY, 25% off.
Fabulous.
Amazing.
That's a very good deal, actually.
It's a great deal. When Joel sent that to me, I was like, are you sure, mate?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a bit...
We had that conversation when you got the email. We're like, well,
chill out.
25%? Jesus, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Fantastic.
Now, if you want to keep up with Bushrangers Brew, you can follow them on Twitter and Facebook at Bushrangers Brew, with a capital B on Bushranger and Brew, or you can follow them on Instagram at Bushrangers Brew. They've also got the website, which I've already mentioned, and on that website there is a blog where you can subscribe as well. I
Fantastic.
love it. in hopefully a week or so, Tim will be able to talk about how much he loves it after trying it.
I'm sure I will.
And yeah, get onto it. It's amazing. And we're so thankful. Joel, thank you so much, mate. And thank you, Bushrangers Brew, for supporting us in this way and actually getting on board with this. It's the first time ever, and we are tickled with exhilarating, enthralling.
Yep, sure, all of those
excitement.
words. No, we are. We're very excited. So thank you for Joel and the Bushranger Brew guys for joining the Yeah G'day family, and we're excited to join your family too.
We're full of turgidity.
Fantastic. I think we've covered everything in relation to everything.
We have everything ever. This is our last episode. No, we're done. Yeah, so, Tim, I want to thank Taylor Smelly Tea.
Smell tea, yep.
For making us look so good.
Yeah, we do look quite wonderful in that
our
picture.
cover up. People at work the other day said, "Yeah, you don't look like this," and I'm like, "Yeah, we'll get fucked."
HR. And I'll thank Mr. Curtis Fernance for the introduction, outroduction, and the Harold Holt music. Thank you so much, sir. And of course, you know where to find Bushrangers Brew, but you don't know where to find us. Yeah G'day podcast, pretty much everything.
Yep.
Follow us if you aren't already. Share our episodes. Give them to your nan. Give them to people you've never met before. Use them as a conversation starter.
Yes. Actually, two things I just remembered. We had two comments, and we had two things happen this week. One was one of our listeners, whose names escaped me, and I'm feeling horrible for it, gave us a comment saying that she is a nana and she loves our podcast.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
So take that. Also, my mum's a nana and she loves our podcast. Number two, Abby on Twitter drew fan art for us.
Yeah, she did.
Finally.
Pretty good picture, too.
It was a picture of the great emu of Tim and I riding emus, and one of the emus had guns for arms. It was amazing. I loved it. Thank you, Abby. Amazing.
We've already posted that.
We have posted. If you haven't seen it, make sure you check it out. But we loved it. Anyone got any more fan art like Tim and I as bushrangers, even though I already am a bushranger? Please do that.
You're not technically. Yeah, cool.
Awesome. Well, as always, Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah, g'day, Tim.
Yeah, g'day, Leon.
Yeah, g'day, everyone.
Yeah, g'day, everyone. Catch you on the flippity flop.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.